The following audio may contain the personal testimonials of some independent OPTAVIA coaches or clients of OPTAVIA. The results relayed in these messages are based on the unique experiences of the participants, and we cannot guarantee like or similar outcomes. While you may be inspired by these accounts, please note that any stories of success have not been verified, and your individual path to healthy living and weight loss will vary. As always, it is our recommendation that you consult with a healthcare provider before starting a weight loss program. In addition, this audio may contain income or earnings representations of some independent OPTAVIA coaches. OPTAVIA makes no guarantee of financial success. Success with OPTAVIA results from successful sales efforts, which requires hard work, diligence, skill, persistence, competence, and leadership. Please see the OPTAVIA income disclosure statement for statistics on actual earnings of coaches under the U.S. compensation plan, which differs from the international compensation plan. Yours in health, the OPTAVIA team.
All right.
So guys, tonight we are just so honored to cover element 11. I'm gonna pull my book out right here. If you don't have it, go get your book, because actually as we cover this, you can take notes in your book while we do this. If not, grab a pen and grab a piece of paper, because we do want you to interact with us.
And it fits in your back pocket.
It's just like that. So element 11, we are going to be talking about eating strategies for lifelong health.
Yep. And if we didn't, or you didn't catch it on the intro, my name is Sam. This is Harold. No, I'm just joking.
We can go to the next slide and tell them our real names.
Exactly.
So hi, I'm Sam.
And I'm Harold Prestenbach.
Yep. And fun fact, he gave me that nickname because I am originally Samantha.
Absolutely. And we are independent certified OPTAVIA coaches. And again, congratulations for being here tonight and tuning in to just help move yourselves forward.
Yeah. So those 4 beautiful kids you see there, they are ours. And we are so blessed. We love them so much. In fact, when we found OPTAVIA, we only had 2. I say only because, as you can see, we have 4 now. But you know what? When people get happy and when people get healthy and when you can see the opportunities that OPTAVIA has, amazing things happen. And you know what? I found this program and I just want to lose that little last bit of baby weight that I was struggling with. What I found was so much more. What I found was community, and I found strategies, and actually the element that we're going to talk about tonight, I leaned into that more than I ever had, even as a retired personal trainer and also a wife that wouldn't take advice from her husband. It was really helpful to have these strategies, to have the education from the Habits of Health in order to transform my health. And he has a transformation too, and that we will share later.
Absolutely. So tonight, the agenda is element 11. And we are going to cover these 3 categories: mindset, skill set, and action. And I want you to understand that we're going to spend a little time on mindset, because none of the other things, skill set or action, matter if you don't make up your mind from day one. Yep,
absolutely. You know, so as we delve into mindset, here's what we hope that you get from this tonight, okay? I hope, Harold hopes, that you understand the importance of your lean and green meal. Yes, it is simple, it's fun, it can be tasty, it's going to transform you so much, not just physically, but also mentally, and so many other things in your life. But it is such an important foundation. And then the skill sets are actually learning to eat healthy when you're buying food, as you're zoning in on reaching your healthy weight. And then last, certainly not least, because if you are awakened by the mindset that we pass on to you tonight, and then the skill sets that we're going to hand you, it is nothing without action. So you're going to discover how to create a new 4-part shopping list that actually supports your habits of health transformation.
Absolutely. So we're going to ask you guys, just to get better acquainted with who we're speaking with tonight, if you could answer, you'll see a little poll pop up. And which answer best describes you? Are you a coach, client, or guest?
All right, fill that in. So as we go into some very strategic things to help you transform your body and teaching you the fundamentals, basically, I want to ask you this. If you knew that you're going to transform your body and meet all your healthy weight goals, but it couldn't be sustained unless you transformed your mind, would you be open to opening these books and opening up the Habits of Health transformational system, because you can get your body super healthy, but you can only sustain it if you actually transform your mind along with it. And that is what this system means to me and so many others. Your LifeBook is going to take the things you learn and actually make it practical for your life. The app is just a fun way, because everybody has smartphones now, to track your water, your fuelings, your lean and greens, your habits of health, and so much more. So download that, because that's free, guys. It's a resource. And the more resources you use, the more you're stacking the odds in your favor. And then last but not least, Dr. A's Habits of Health book, which is just, whoa, chock full of knowledge that is going to help you learn so much about yourself during this process.
And again, it's what Sam said. You notice it doesn't say transformational diet. It's transformational system. So as she said, if you're open to wanting to create change, then you want to really dive in and utilize these resources little by little.
Correct.
So mindset, it's one micro habit, healthy eating. If you could adopt that mindset, and one micro habit at a time, should I say, it's going to help you. The skill set, the action, all of that's just going to align perfectly once you make the decision and open your mind to what's possible. Again, one micro habit at a time.
Yeah. This is your foundation. Quite simple. You need the fuelings. Thank the Lord. They're so simple and so convenient and tasty and fun. But you know what? You're going to need this foundation as you build your house. You don't want to build it on sand. You want to build it on a slab. You want to build it on
solid
rock.
Foundation.
This is how you do that.
And it starts with up here. Everything else is simple. Everything else is, I would say, actually, I'm going to say easy. Once you make the decision here and you dive in. And speaking of someone who got their mind right.
Yes, it's transformation here. Our first friend up to speak tonight is Miss Maria Fernandez. And wow, this girl, she came to OPTAVIA simply wanting to learn how to put together all whole foods herself, and honestly struggling. And so I'm going to leave it right there. Maria, are you with us?
Hey guys, yes I am. Hi, so thank you guys so much for letting me share tonight. I did lose a total of 100 pounds, and this program has helped me and equipped me to keep it off, which I am extremely grateful for. The lean and green, I love that I get to talk on this topic tonight, because the lean and green I feel like is a big part of that. I am from Southern Louisiana, where everything is about food. We throw parties around food, we create events for food, everything is about food. And so being raised in that environment, I felt like I needed to learn how to cook all of the things so that I could have friends over and host all the parties. And all those recipes really made me intimidated, and I ended up not cooking any of them and instead just ordering party platters. And that took its toll on me. I gained 80 pounds with my first 2 pregnancies, and I was pretty miserable. I had always dreamed of the mom I was gonna be when I was a mom, and then here I was, and I, was buying padded shoes at age 25 because my knees hurt, and I wasn't active and I wasn't energetic like I wanted to be. So anyway, long story short, I learned how to be a good mom and a good cook with the lean and green. I could handle that. It was just a meat and a vegetable or whatever, and I could handle that. And then I would expand after having that one foundation of that one lean and green. And I realized that I had changed the culture in me and what I took in. My lean and green was like a way that I kind of practiced self-love. And then I realized that I was changing the culture in my household, that my kids were starting to pick up on that, and that's just all they knew. And I thought, why not change the culture around me? Why not still have the friends over and still share the experiences? But instead of practicing habits of disease, I can incorporate lean and greens and change the people that I love, because in Louisiana we have a very high obesity rate, and these are the people that mean the world to me. So why would I not want to show them that we can still have the community that we have and the culture that we have, but do it in a way that is not hurting us in the way that it is. So that's what I did. I cook lean and greens and I invite everybody over. And I feel like the lean and green is like the bridge. It like bridges the gap between us foodies, you know, like we can come together and we can relate over a good, yummy lean and green. And I know I love this mission because I know there's a lot of work to do. Like changing a culture is a big job and I know I can't do it by myself. That's why I love that there's this huge community and I feel like there's other boots on the ground to really help me do this. So that's my story. I thank you so much for letting me share. I feel like that's a major component of how I've kept it off. So thank you.
Wow, so beautiful. Guys, you know what? Listen to Maria, if you really just laser in on this fact, when we change us, when we change our habits, we have the ability to help other people change theirs. Your kids, your parents, your friends, your siblings. But it starts here. And that's why that girl is doing what she's doing today with her health and helping others.
Absolutely. And so moving on to, think of your lean and green as training wheels, right? And one of the most magical things about having most of you who are on program, most of you, majority of you, are probably 5 and 1, 4 and 2, right? So you're responsible for only one meal, maybe 2 meals on your own that you have to give some thought to. So I would, as much as you can make it easy, and maybe that's where you're at right now and you're still learning, you have those training wheels on, that's fine. But the other thing is I would suggest to you to do is also when you have time and you feel more empowered, get creative. Get creative with that one meal because we're talking about, as the title suggested, lifelong. If you're not enjoying what you're eating, then that could be a challenge to have that lifelong success. So we're going to encourage you through this call. We're going to give you some ideas. We're going to point you and direct you to some resources and guide you to where maybe you jazz up some things and then you'll become very comfortable with expanding your palate, right?
Yep. So practice makes progress. And if you're going to practice this, you need to use this resource. It is amazing. How many of you, please put in the chat, if you are currently utilizing the OPTAVIA Lean and Green Pinterest page for recipes. All right, we've got our next poll. So there you go. Please fill that in because we're so curious to see if you're taking full advantage of this. This page, I don't go anywhere else now for OPTAVIA recipes because I got tired of asking myself, is this compliant? Is this going to help me stay on plan? And am I going to get results? So I got tired of asking those things. So I stopped going to sources that I wasn't sure of. This is one that you will love. And I can tell you one of my favorites is the stuffed jalapeno poppers. Yum.
And that's a great point. So I would definitely encourage you and suggest that if you are in some other maybe pages on Facebook that aren't compliant with OPTAVIA, you may want to check out of those. They may seem fun. They may seem interesting. But to Sam's point, these things are basically certified by OPTAVIA, right? Mm-hmm. All right, next up.
So now we have our second friend, Miss Megan Braud, who, you know what, this lady here, actually, I'm hearing she's a little bit of a whiz in the kitchen now, but she did start that way, right, Megan? Are you here with us?
I am. Hello, everybody.
Yeah, hello.
Thank you, Sam and Harold. You're right. Okay, so I did not start off a whiz in the kitchen by any means. So like Sam and Harold said, my name is Megan Braud. I have been on my health journey with OPTAVIA. And if any of you are questioning whether or not you can inspire your friends by your journey or even by your lean and greens, then I am a testimony that you can, because Maria is the friend who inspired me. So I'm so appreciative to her for that. I have lost 100 pounds. We have the twins as well. So, but I grew up in a home where, not in a bad way, but we were not allowed in the kitchen while my dad was cooking. And it was his safe place. I think it was definitely his place of like, this is my place to get away from everyone else. And it was wonderful because his cooking was fantastic. I'm also from South Louisiana, so grew up in an Italian and Cajun home. So to say that food was definitely a comfort for me was, yes, that's exactly how it was. But we grew up not really learning what like food really was and how it affected our bodies. I don't know that I understood what starches were, or whole grains or anything like that. Potatoes were just a vegetable. So if I had French fries, then I was having a veggie, right? And for someone who was later in life diagnosed with polycystic ovarian syndrome, with insulin resistance, I realized early on in this health journey that learning about the different types of foods and what they do to my body is so important. And to be aware of food, to understand food. So lean and grain meals became a part of my structure. So this helped me structure healthy meals for my body. I was able to start small and kind of grow comfortable in the kitchen, which it was very scary at first, not because lean and greens are scary, but because I grew up not in the kitchen, right? But now with these amazing recipes that OPTAVIA has shared with us, and the simplicity of the lean and green, guys, my husband thinks that I'm a really good cook. Right? And that's all that's necessary, right? My kids eat my food. I mean, give or take with toddlers. But I love being able to get creative now in the kitchen. I love the excitement and the look on my family's face when they're like, this is really good, So I find that I may actually have a little bit of my dad's cooking skills now. I love getting creative with flavors, and really getting excited when things actually come out really delicious and healthy, and then being able to really share that with other people. So I like to live by this little motto here, okay? Food is my fuel, not my friend. And what that means to me is that food is meant to fuel my body. It is not meant to fill emotional voids or whatever I'm feeling at the time, or give in to my taste buds. I feel like the taste buds were given to us as like a gift, but not necessarily the end all be all, right? So food is my fuel, not my friend. It's meant to fuel my body. And if I enjoy it, and my taste buds are going to adjust to where they're really enjoying the healthy things. And that's what I really love about the lean and green meals. And to share my favorite OPTAVIA Pinterest recipe, again, being from South Louisiana, I love the shrimp and cauliflower grits. So if that gives anything, if a South Louisiana girl can enjoy the shrimp and cauliflower grits, then these recipes are amazing.
Wow, so good. You know what? And that was a bomb dropped right there. I saw it in the chat over and over. The food is fuel, not your friend. But a lot of us here have created relationships with food. Put your favorite emoji in the chat right now. If you are redefining that relationship and starting to feel like for the first time, maybe in your life, that you're in a powerful position when it comes to the daily encounters you're having with food. And if you need more help, we've got your back, because we're about to give you some strategies.
Absolutely. So if we could get the poll results and see where everyone's at. Yes, I get most of my recipes. Great. 42%. Woo! Yes, but haven't tried yet. So it looks like at least, a little over 60% of you have found and are utilizing it. And for the rest of you, that's your homework. Go find it. Go check it out. Yep. Go expand your arsenal of recipes, if you will. So we're going to get into the skill set of tonight's call. And I want to tell you a little secret. I want you to lean in a little bit. What's on your shopping list? It can be simple, or you can make it very difficult. So put in a chat if you'd like or prefer it to be simple. And I think you're going to be very, very happy once we go through this. So here it is. We're going to actually be a little interactive tonight. So if you happen to have your phone or you have a piece of paper and a pen,
Or your LifeBook.
We're going to ask you to create your shopping list, or at least put down some things and get it started so you see how simple it is. So if you could put down 1 lean protein, 2 healthy fats, 3 green vegetables, and 4 healthy snacks and condiments, and we're going to give you some suggestions, or help you give yourself some suggestions on how easy this is, especially when you pair it with a Pinterest recipe app.
Yes. And we're going to start off with your lean, okay? As we pull this all together full circle, guys, I want you to look here. You're going to see the similar theme on the next few slides. You're going to see the 3 different shades of green. You're going to see the leanest, leaner, lean. And under these are your suggestions for each category. But also this, here's a little, I don't know if I want to call it a pro tip, but it's something that is overseen a lot by a lot of people starting their journey, is the ounces of protein suggested for each category. Guys, you don't wing this. If you want wing it results, wing it. If you want amazing results that you've seen repeated over and over by the OPTAVIA community, predictable transformation, make sure you're using your food scale. If you don't have a food scale, get one. I won't plug how, because I know my preferred way, but you need to have that tool to make sure that you, as a friend of mine says all the time, inspect what you expect, okay? You know, if you want to feel your best and look your best, use the tools here. Guys, we love seafood, and as Dr. A suggests, when it comes to seafood, there's some really great results that would come from leaning into this and actually trying it, or if you like it, eating it more.
Absolutely. It's great for your heart, amongst other healthy benefits. And we're going to suggest that when we bring up each one of these categories, if you will, that you put down things that you prefer in that lean, for instance, the lean. And also, I'm going to challenge you to actually put something down that you may want to try. Let's start expanding that palate, because your palate is going to cleanse and it is going to change. Trust me when I say that. And plus it'll make things interesting for you.
Yeah. And if you want something yummy and filling, go get you some shrimp, put 7 ounces on a plate. You'll be very surprised at how much food it is. It's awesome. Now on to our next one, meat and poultry. You know, I want to tell you here with these categories, nothing is off the table. Okay. Just as with seafood and everything that we're about to go over next, just because you see certain foods that are in that dark green section that say the leanest, or it doesn't mean that you shouldn't or be trying the other things in the other categories. What we hope that you see here is that everything here is on the table, everything is healthy, and that what you really should do is say, you know what, I'm going to eat what I enjoy the most. Because if you look forward to eating this meal, you're going to have more success and you're going to have more joy in the process, okay? And last but not least on this slide, I want to say, if you want to continue getting really great results, avoid lean and green burnout. Don't eat the same thing over and over and over because it's the only thing you know, or you've seen other people do and you think that's the way. Change it up.
Yeah, we're talking lifelong, right? So again, we're going to suggest that you put things you prefer on your list and put something that you want to try. And use the Pinterest app and find a recipe. All right.
And now meat alternatives. So this isn't just for vegans or vegetarians. Newsflash, we do have options for you, yes. However, this is for anyone. Maybe you want to experiment with a meatless day, or a lot of people eat eggs. Look at that here. You know what? Your lean and green does not just need to be at dinner time. It can be for breakfast. It can be for lunch. The key is that we are eating 6 times a day, every 2 to 3 hours. So have fun with this. Maybe your lean and green is breakfast one day.
Absolutely. Skill set of healthy fats and oils. Do not overlook this because it's so small. We're talking teaspoons. We're talking small increments, right? We're talking 1 ounces. These right here, these healthy fats help keep you satiated, but they're loaded and packed with all kinds of health benefits. Plus, they add flavor, right? They add tons of flavor to these vegetables and to these proteins.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Now, skill set, green vegetables and salads.
Yes.
Now,
yes.
Hold up. I know most people on here prefer things that probably aren't serving you. So when it comes to vegetables, you got a great point. You got a great point here.
You know, I came to the program still really needing to cultivate a love and appreciation for vegetables. There was a few I ate, and there was a whole lot I didn't. Quite honestly, what I realized was when I leaned into this process and I asked myself, maybe I needed to learn, did I need to learn how to prepare these in a different way? What I realized was I did like vegetables. I just didn't really prefer them the way that my mom used to cook them. So I'm going to tell you here that if you get curious about some of these things and maybe do a little research, you know, there's so many resources out there where you can say, hey, I want to try asparagus, but I don't know if I really know how to cook it. Go do a little research, and I guarantee you that being curious will help you expand into new territories when it comes into food.
Absolutely. And again, put your staples here, things you know, and then add something different. All right, so snacks and condiments. So this actually is great because this is where you can jazz things up. Seasoning.
Healthy, right, does not mean bland.
No, absolutely. So definitely tap into and with the Pinterest app, it's going to help you with all the recipes to jazz these things up. From Louisiana, New Orleans, myself, born and raised. You can do the Tabasco thing, or you can do Louisiana hot sauce. It always jazzes things up, and then you got the optional snacks.
Yeah, you know, you might be like me, where I was working on breaking some habits, and it really came down to snacking. And so here are your options. If you are breaking that habit, use them, and they come in handy. And there's no need to feel like you're hungry.
Absolutely. And for those of you, you know, maybe you're not that chef, like the Cajun Italian that we just had on chef, right? Maybe you're not that talented and you're still in a process with your training wheels. So you need a fallback, or maybe you're busy, right? Or whatever it may be, we got you covered. You know, OPTAVIA has you covered in so many ways. So the flavors of home, there's many different choices. And I would encourage you to have these on hand as well.
Action time. If you were taking notes throughout all of that, what did they end up with, Harold?
They ended up with a simple grocery list on exactly what they prefer. And you took on my challenge and you added something new to each one of these categories.
Yes. So what you can do now, because I'm guessing you're going to need to eat again pretty soon. And I'm guessing that at some point after this, you're going to need to go to the grocery store. Just a guess. Take this list, guys. Take this with you. Be intentional about what you're putting together. And even maybe you're going to try out technology. Maybe you're going to have your food brought to you because we have all these incredible resources. Maybe you're going to schedule a pickup, because if you, again, stack the odds in your favor and you remove temptation and you increase convenience, you're going to be a lot more successful.
Absolutely. So put in the chat what action you specifically are going to take. Hold yourself accountable. Maybe give some other people some ideas. For some of you, about 40% of you, go get that Pinterest app. For some of you, it's to try out the Pinterest app that you have. For some of you, it's to try out a new category in the ones that we spoke about in the skills. So last poll, how did you enjoy the community time? Hopefully you found
I thought it was excellent.
Hopefully you found some value.
I hope you did too.
Absolutely.
Guys, last but not least, community time doesn't end here. You can gather all of this information and resources through Habits of Health Media. These calls are recorded onto the YouTube page. Please subscribe. I love going back and looking at past recordings because you know what? Sometimes we need to hear it more than once. And then there's also the OPTAVIA Habits of Health podcast, because maybe you're driving and shouldn't watch a video, or you're just moving around a lot. This is one of my favorite tools also. But last and not least, again, is receive a text. If you know that you need a little extra help, then take it. If you opt in by texting OPTAVIA 30, all caps OPTAVIA 30, to 99000, OPTAVIA is actually going to remind you the day of these calls to join us live.
Absolutely. So as we're transitioning to the next call, we want to invite you to next week's call for Habits of Health. And the topic is
strengthening summer support systems.
And it will be hosted by no other than Dr. J.C. Dornack. He brings a wealth of wisdom and experience. Not only has he impacted his life, but he's impacted many, many people's lives. So we hope you tune in for that. And thank you and congratulations for being here tonight.
We hope to see you on the next call.
And thank you for Megan and Maria for sharing.
This audio may have contained the personal testimonials of some independent OPTAVIA coaches or clients of OPTAVIA. The results relayed in these messages are based on the unique experiences of the participants, and we cannot guarantee like or similar outcomes. While you may be inspired by these accounts, please note that any stories of success have not been verified, and your individual path to optimal health will vary. As always, it is our recommendation that you consult with a healthcare provider before starting a weight loss program. In addition, this audio may have contained income or earnings representations of some independent OPTAVIA coaches. OPTAVIA makes no guarantee of financial success. Success with OPTAVIA results from successful sales efforts, which requires hard work, diligence, skill, persistence, competence, and leadership. Please see the OPTAVIA income disclosure statement for statistics on actual earnings of coaches under the U.S. compensation plan, which differs from the international compensation plan. Yours in health, the OPTAVIA team.